Hey YouTube, it's your girl Duchess back for our recap of day 119 of the YSL trial. If you review the entire video and look in the description, I broke everything down in chapters. So it was a good day for the defense today. And I would even say a good day for Kenneth Copeland. So, without further ado, we're going to start getting into some of these clips, beginning at about hour 1.11.00. In the description says, still locked in on Donovan Thomas, pow-powing and Woody's interrogation cell phone at McDonald's. Let's go.
I could show you a picture.
Yeah, you gotta show me a picture.
Okay.
Nah, I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay. In 2014, 2015, if you observe this, just tell me, if you remember and you observed it. Do you remember seeing surveillance cameras inside and outside that McDonald's?
That's not my neighborhood.
That's fine. That's good. Okay. All right. Now, you're aware by the time that all this happened, January, we'll just say January 2015, January 10, before Mr. Donovan Thomas's, God forbid, shot, you're aware that cell phones, cellular telephones, give a general description of the area the cell phone is in. Is that true?
Can you say it again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At and around or before Donovan Thomas's shooting, that's what I'm locking in on. Were you aware, did you know that cellular telephones can tell a general vicinity of where the phone is? Do you know what I'm referring to?
You said, do I know about it?
Yeah. Did you know about it back then?
Yeah.
Okay. And in fact, you told the police on January 11th, 2015, within 7 hours, 8 hours of Mr. Donovan Thomas being, God forbid, shot, you brought a cell phone in the interrogation room with Detective Thorpe and said, my phone will tell you where the phone was. Remember doing that?
Right.
And that was you trying to tell the detective, don't look at me for the killing of Donovan Thomas. Fair to say? That's why you went there.
Right.
I'd like to play for you and just tell us, orient the ladies and gentlemen jury, if that's what you're talking about. This is, Your Honor, Jeffrey Williams 241G. It's in Gold Federal States Exhibit number 378Y. A is in Elisa. Your Honor, this is the January 11th, 2015 interrogation or meeting with Detective Thorpe and Mr. Copeland. Is at 3:14:09 a.m. to 3:14:23 a.m. If you can listen to this, Mr. Copeland, just make sure that you tell the jurors correctly if this is what you're talking about.
I can't hear it.
It wasn't shared.
So what I did was I kept it. I see I missed it in my phone just to show you. I was asking everybody like, should I go down there, bro? Cause I didn't do it. They come scan me, they do everything. I didn't do it. They check my phone record, my vote copy, they show you where I was, they show you every car that I talked first, they show you where I was now.
Is that you, Mr. Copeland? If you heard it, saying, you could check phone records, you can see where the phone was, where I was. Is that fair to say?
Huh?
Sorry. Were you talking about in the Jeffrey Williams Exhibit 241G, States Exhibit 378YA, from the times that I announced, was that you showing the detective with your phone on the desk.
Trying to show him I'm innocent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that phone, you see the phone that's in the Honorable Judge Whitaker's courtroom on display? That's the phone you brought in.
On the camera?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And did Detective Thorpe ever take your phone?
Shit, I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, let's do it both ways.
I don't really remember how it was so fast. I don't really remember how it went.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and if you don't remember, just say I don't remember. Did anyone on the district attorney's office or the police department ever show you the contents of your phone, that they looked into your phone? Did they ever come back to you and say, hey, we can tell where you are, or these are the text messages? Did they ever show you that?
Miss Hilty told me that, I think in Glanville office, that something about my phone showed me somewhere else. I can't. She said something to me about it, like during the trial, but I don't recall exactly how she said it.
Now, you had multiple phones, fair to say, on January 10th, 2015?
What you mean?
Multiple is a better word. You had more than one phone on January, the day that Mr. Donovan Thomas was killed. You had more than one phone, right?
Everybody got more than one phone.
Okay, and including you, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you told the jury on August 12th of 2024 that you had more than one phone. And if you'd listen to this, and just make sure that's what you're talking about, the night of Donovan Thomas's murder. JW 249, Your Honor, at 5:44:48 to 5:45:16 from the Fox 5 stream of this trial.
But I'm about to listen to some.
I think he's having a little issue. I'm sorry.
Officers present and accounted for.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Your Honor, I'd like to play Jeffrey Williams or JW 249. It's at 5:44:48 to 5:45:16 from Fox 5 stream of this trial.
Did you provide us your phone number so we can get your phone records, Mr. Copeland?
Which phone?
The phone you had in 2015, did you give police your phone number so we can get your phone records?
I don't recall. Now you're talking about.
Did you give police your phone number in any of these interviews so that we can get your phone records?
Which phone?
Your phone that you had back in 2015.
I had more than one phone.
Is that audible? Mr. Copeland, that's you testifying before this jury, August 12th, 2024, where you explained that you had multiple phones on January 10th, 2015. Does that sound right?
That's what it said.
Did the district attorney's office, did the federal authorities, did homicide detective Thorpe, Detective Dennis, Detective Gaither, anybody, Agent Cunningham, anybody in law enforcement, did they ever seek to get a warrant, a search warrant for your other phone or phones?
Speculation.
Sustained.
Did you ever get served with a search warrant, a warrant, or even asked to give the police your other phones or the district attorney's office?
No.
I'm going to show you and play for you, with the court's permission, Jeffrey Williams or JW 244D.
All right. So let's just pause right there. So what Brian Steele is doing, he has disarmed Woody, as you can see. He's much calmer. Seems to be more cooperative. Um, and he is showing that the state, no one from that team never did any work to verify what he told them. They did no verification of the evidence that he particularly gave him. Even on the stand after Judge Glanville recusal and everybody's back in court, they never checked to his cell phone records to see where he was. What that does is that introduces doubt. It also weakens the state's case because it's kind of like hearsay. So we're going to go to another section of the video that was key. And he is going to paint a picture about Jeffrey Williams being cool with Thomas and them not verifying it. So we are going to 13700, and that title in the description says more interviews January 11, 2015 about Jeffrey Williams being cool with Thomas.
This is, by the way, Your Honor, this is JW Jeffrey Williams 241B, as in Barry States Exhibit 378Y. A as in Elisa. It's at 3:16:50 a.m. to 3:16:56 a.m. And this is January 28th, 2015 meeting or interview or interrogation with the police. Okay, Mr. Copeland, I'd like you to listen to this about things were good with Jeffrey. If you could just listen to this.
Defense counsel January 20th, I think this is the January 11th interview.
You are, and thank you very much. I apologize, Your Honor. It's Mr. Copeland, it's January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Same time.
They like, I was cool with him at first. When George started letting me hang and putting out these songs and videos.
You were telling Detective Thorpe that Jeffrey was cool with Mr. Thomas, right?
I guess.
And that's the truth, though, right?
I don't know. I'm saying I can't hear what I said in the video.
Okay, how about this? From your observations, Jeffrey was on good terms with Donovan Thomas.
I don't think I ever seen them two. I can't remember being around both of them at one time.
You never saw them dap each other up?
I'm saying I don't think I've been around with. I don't think I've been around like if I never seen them. I don't think I've been around with both of them in the same place. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I don't remember. I can't remember seeing both of them in the same place.
I want to talk with you about what you told the detectives. It's June 10, 2015. And this is when you're telling the detectives you're at the McDonald's and D gets into your car. I want to talk to you about this. This is JW or Jeffrey Williams 240M as in Magic, States Exhibit number 378. YE as in Aaron, 2:45 p.m. to 2:46 p.m. And you say to the police, SHI blank, I just heard D got in the car and he was like, they just killed him. Or he like, yeah. He like, boy, they killed Nut. Detective Thorpe said, who he say killed Nut? You said, I'm telling you. Like my heart started pounding. Like who? He was like them. And then Nard got in the car. He shut up talking. So we get riding. I'm like, where the HELL, we going? But he told me that I was already trying to get the HELL away from them. So Moonton FaceTimed me. He like, boy, you know, old boy just got shot, right? They saying, boy, he just might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, huh? Man, he trying. He like, SHI, boy, you know, they could scream out a name, right? Man, boy, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So SHI, I'm like, man, my head started hurting instantly. I got off the phone with him. So we following behind them, that's when we dropped them at Thug's house. They was in the car, in the first car. So when we pulled up, I want you to listen to this and tell me if that's what we're talking about. Excuse me.
So I just heard D got in the car, he's like, they killed him. Yeah, he's like, well, they killed Nut. When you say killed Nut, I'm like, my heart started pounding like who? He like, damn. And Nut got in the car, he shut up talking. So we get lines. I'm like, where they was going? But when he told me, I was already trying to get a head away from him. So I moved to a FaceTime, he like, but you know, old boy, they got shot, right? Saying, boy, he said it might not make it. I'm like, who? Like, Nut. I'm like, him. And he like, shit, well, you know they could scream, out of name, right? And well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So shit, I like, man, my head started instantly. I got off on him. So we fight behind him, we drop him. Then we pull up his own thug.
Mr. Copeland, did the district attorney's office or anybody in law enforcement, an agent with the FBI who's a cell phone expert or any of the police, did they ever go over with you where your cell phone that you told them about was traveling from the McDonald's area towards Jeffrey's home on January 10th, 2015? Did they ever ask you about that to explain it?
No.
All right, that was important. One thing that Brian did, like note, so as you watch this, take note that who Brian is actually talking to is the jury. And so he's reading that transcript into evidence, not just playing it, because those videos are kind of hard to understand, hard to hear, the audio and all of that. So he's reading it into the transcript and then he plays the video. So they have something to go along with, because by him reading that, the court reporters are typing all of that in. And this is another time that Woody gave them supposedly key evidence, also evidence that could possibly point the direction away from his client, and they never verified it. Let's keep going. So the next clip that we're going to watch is still will play. That is at 1 hour 48.44. The description says still plays a video that includes Jeffrey Williams, Donovan Thomas, Threat, and Woody. Why is this important? Woody on the stand one of these days on the stand, he got really frustrated. It probably was the day that they came back or the next day. And he admitted that he gave the car, this Infinity that they keep talking about, that is a key piece of evidence in this case, that he gave it to Threat. He also have given history between Threat and Donovan Thomas that was negative, but there was no beef between Woody and Thug, between Donovan Thomas. So there was like a whole separate thing going on with the YFN gang, including YFN Lucci, and Threat was more into that space. And so he's kind of introduced that. And then here is a video that he's going to play that includes, excuse me, I'm so sorry, excuse me, that includes all of them. So this again is at 1:48:44, and let's play that clip.
Of course, permission, I know it's in evidence, but 40:34 through 40:50 first, and then it's going to be stopped, and then 3:56:02 to the end.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, matter of fact, he calling right now.
Say, twin, you got that fuck nigga y'all been looking for.
Where y'all at? Where you at?
We at the spot.
Man, he getting right. Hey, we on the way right now. We on the way right now.
All right. They on the way now, little bro.
And if you can go back, Mr. Kokomo, I just, for the jurors, Mr. Copeland, I'd just like to explain some things. The person right there in the black, in the black shirt with the red-looking bow tie and the red vest on the cell phone, you see that person? Can you tell the jurors who that is?
Threat.
And I heard you, but your hands are over your mouth. Do you mind just
I
telling?
said that Threat.
Okay. And then if you go back a little bit, Mr. Kokomo, and Mr. Kokomo, what time is that we just announced? 53:58, Your Honor, is what we were just talking about. And if you just go back a little bit more. Keep going back just a little bit more. Right up, go just ahead, right there. And Mr. Copeland at 40:94, is it fair to say that's you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to go to 56:02. That's wrong. 3 minutes, 56 seconds, 02 to the end.
Triple cross, cause that boy is speaking to the boss. Me and Woody, I do win what it costs. We ain't take no loss. Homicide, we're gonna.
Mr. Copeland, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton before June 7, 2024, that's the first time the jurors ever saw you come into the courtroom? Judge Glanville was the judge at that time, and you invoked the Fifth Amendment. That's the day I'm talking about. So before that day, okay? Am I losing you? Because I'm not trying to. I lost you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're finished with the exhibit. Can you take it down?
Yeah.
But before, I'm sorry.
You finished with it?
For now, I'm going to go
Okay.
back to before the first time the jurors saw you testify on a Friday, June 7, 2024. Before that, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton that you made a video admitting to killing Donovan Thomas? Do you remember saying that?
Huh?
Do you remember saying on social media or otherwise that you made a video or a statement that you admitted to killing Donovan Thomas? Do you remember saying that?
Objection, mischaracterization of evidence. Not even mischaracterization.
I don't know how to rule on that.
Okay.
I don't have anything in front of me.
That's fine. Let me get the, can I have 1 second?
Yeah, it's not an evidentiary objection, by the way.
I don't remember what was said.
Okay. Was that you in that video that was shown to you?
In that picture he showed me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you need to hear what was said? Did Mr. Kokomo play that for you?
No, he just showed me a picture and walked off.
Mr. Kokomo, would you just show Mr. Copeland the relevant portions, 504, and you can listen to any of it, 504 to 512 and 859 to 907. Mr. Copeland, just listen to this yourself, please. They have it.
That's it.
That's you in your, during your interview or part of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Jeffrey Williams 246 specifically, and I don't care if the whole interview's in, but specifically the times I announced, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we're objecting based on improper character, and we can approach for some other matters, Your Honor.
All right, instead of approaching, because I haven't seen this before, so I'm gonna need to see it as well. I'm gonna excuse y'all to the jury room. And,
I can step out too.
yes, for now, but stay
Be right there.
close. And, yeah, I may.
At the end of the day, I got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You wanna listen to it? Or you keep listening to these niggas that ain't did nothing gangster, nothing tougher than they life. So,
Were the people around you?
Mr. Copeland, are we able to hear what you said during that interview?
Yeah, I heard it.
And you don't need me to explain. Tell the jurors what you were saying to the interviewer.
What you mean?
What was the,
What was I getting at?
yeah, can you tell the jurors, please?
Well, I did an interview and well, I got hear the question that he asked me.
Okay, let me ask you this. Some jurors may not know what off the porch is. Can you tell them what that is?
It's a they interview rappers.
All right. So in that clip, what Brian Steele is doing is showing that Lil Woody, he is the tough guy. He also praises Young Thug a little bit. That clip is at 208 00. And what he's doing is laying foundation that Lil Woody was his own person. He was about that. And Jeffrey Williams didn't have room or authority really that could persuade this man to do anything. In fact, there is some jail calls and different things like that where he's telling him to kind of chill out and change his life in that piece. So that's what he's showing in that clip. I'm going to go to 2.15 and I need to update this. Let's see here. I need to update this because this timestamp is not going to work. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second here. So, am I in the editing? That's the part. That's what's wrong. All right. So I know where it is. Let me just get to it on here, and then I'm going to fix this on the back end.
Okay, is your intent to show that entire thing with the, whatever that heading is?
I was going to, Your Honor, if Mr. Copeland can recognize it, I was going to admit it into evidence, and it is from, we received in discovery from the state, and it's Operation Phoenix, and it's the authorities announced on October 29th, 2020, charges for the 12 most violent offenders in Operation Phoenix, and I was going to show that to him.
All right, and
then he has that on his Instagram, or I shouldn't say Instagram. It's a social media account. I think
and
it's
when's that social media post from?
that is, it's in his, oh, I'm being told the answer. It's in his biography or bio.
I can't hear what he's saying, but
He's saying it's in the social media biography of Mr. or bio.
whatever, whomever authority this was might have thought in October of 2020 relevant to the issues that we're talking about right now with Mr. Copeland.
I believe it's relevant because the state is saying that Jeffrey Williams governs this person. That's their whole theory.
Mhm.
Tells them go out. They're using one lyric from one song. Jeffrey Williams, as the court may not know, has thousands of songs that Woody's going to pop you in the noggin. That is the quote. And I want to show that they hardly knew each other. They knew each other for a short period of time. Mr. Copeland did not commit crimes for Jeffrey Williams. Jeffrey Williams encouraged Mr. Copeland to conduct himself lawfully. That was on a jail call that we heard yesterday. In fact, included on that, Jeffrey Williams, through his sisters, saying, get out of the streets. You have a child. You don't have to live that life. And I want to show that Mr. Copeland ignored all of that. And after he has no contact, he has zero contact with Jeffrey Williams, he is still putting on his social media that he is a gangster, or 12, one of Georgia's most wanted. He is by the prosecution. These are federal authorities, by the way. So when I say prosecution, I'm talking about the federal authorities, deemed him one of the 12 most violent offenders in Georgia in 2020. And he has done a interview with Off the Porch in April 2020, where he's stating that he's a real gangster, the other people are not, and that if you disagree with that, he's going to, straighten you out, basically. So I think that's all important to the jurors, because it will hopefully undress this impression, wrong impression, in my opinion, strongly wrong impression, that the state is putting up, that somehow this man is all around Jeffrey Williams, knows what he says, knows what he's thinking. He overhears him on conversations, and Jeffrey Williams is there when the police keep calling Kenneth Copeland. It just, in my opinion, and hopefully the cross-examination, That just wasn't their relationship. So
Okay, well, but most of what you mentioned already has already been put before the jury, and this particular exhibit does not in any way shed any light on whether Mr. Copeland is or is not close with Mr. Williams. And I just do not see the relevance of it, particularly given that he said he didn't know that that's what law enforcement thought of him.
Okay,
So I'm gonna
Understood.
sustain that objection.
I understand. Okay, we will
All right.
move on.
Okay, so let's all break for lunch.
Can I just give this then to, it's on the thumb drive, of course, but can I just give this to the court reporter? It's the print, if, unless you don't want it,
No, yeah, that's fine.
but I understand it's not in evidence.
Correct.
In fact, you might, because it's gonna be a lot of, that's right, not admitted into evidence on it, or?
That's fine. Excluded. Yes.
All right. Despite what you see there, he does eventually get his point across. I am going to, in terms of separating this close relationship that Woody had with Young Thug, like in 2015, they were not even speaking. They only hung out for a little bit of time, a few months or so. And so he's able to establish that. We're going to get into where he demonstrates that Woody is not being truthful to the detectives and he's lying just in those interviews before we even make it over into court. Because as a defense, they have to get him to corroborate some of his storytelling. And it's a good move for them to show how he is playing the detectives, and the detectives are aware of it and they don't do any fact checking. We talked about that. And they kind of buy anything that he's selling and has built this entire case around this man's testimony. So we're going to go to 301.59 in the video. Let's see here. Okay, how about 32?
Right. If I had $300,000, you know, it would have been pictures, videos, and everything. The whole world would have seen it.
I'd like to go through with you, Jeffrey Williams, or JW 241F is in Fox, States Exhibit number 378YA is in Elisa. This is January 11th, 2015. So this is, 7, 8 hours after Mr. Thomas was, God forbid, shot. It's 3:14 back. Detective Dennis said, and you ain't getting none of that? And you said, I don't care about money. Did the police or the prosecution ever come to you and say, hey, we would like to talk to you about corroborating or supporting or verifying what you told us here? Did that ever happen? That OG Bentley supposedly hit a car and guns. Did the police ever come to you or the district attorney's office and say, we want to talk to you about that statement and see if we could verify it? Did they ever do that?
Then I said to the police, they
Kamala Harris is the advocate we need. As president, she will defend our reproductive freedom, protect Social Security and Medicare, and ensure our children can be safe at school. Kamala Harris, for our freedoms, our families, our future.
June 10, 2015. It's 1:16:56 p.m. to 1:17:36 p.m. You said, you know what I mean? This N, you know what he did to me? He gave me $300,000 to hold, and he left and came back. Detective Dennis said, and you ain't getting none of that? And you said, I don't care about money. I don't. Detective Gaither said, you care about some money. And Detective Dennis said, you kind of dissing yourself, man. And you said, listen, the N would give me money.
what is N?
N-I-G-G.
Oh, nigga.
You feel what I'm saying? I didn't need nothing. I didn't. Detective Gaither said, how much? You said, but when I went to jail, he didn't help me. Detective Gaither said, you just said the most amount of money Thug Dunn gave you. Detective Dennis said $300,000. And you said, but he left with you 300. This is Detective Dennis, and I guess came back and gave you 1,000 and you were good. I just want you to hear that and make sure that's what it said.
I mean, we didn't, yeah, $300,000, the whole, he left, came back.
And you know it.
I don't care about money. I don't even care about some money.
You be contradicting yourself, man.
The nigga was giving me money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need that. I did it. But when I went to jail and he didn't help me, you just said the most amount of money Thug gave me was $5,000.
But he left you with 300, and I guess he came back and gave you a 1,000 and you were good.
You hear that, Mr. Copeland?
Mhm.
And the police are telling you, you're not making any sense, right? They're saying that to you, right?
Right.
They know, you believe, they know this is all just try to make them, give them something they need to let you go. Right?
Objection, speculation.
That's what you're doing. Don't speculate about anyone else. That's what you're doing, right?
They know that. Dennis know it, Gaither know it.
And there's no picture of you with $300,000. You're not saying that's true. You just said that to the police, right?
If I had $300,000, you know, it would have been pictures, videos, and everything. The whole world would have seen it.
I'd like to go through with you Jeffrey Williams or JW 241F is in file.
All right, so that still is brilliant. So he's showing the jury that, they haven't verified any evidence. They knew this guy was not telling the truth. Look at Love and Hilton. They are stressed. Okay. So we're going to fast forward to him telling them that he and Donovan Thomas never had a problem. And then we later learned that Woody had stole from him. So we are going to 303.59 and we're going to play it through 306.30.
Before January 6, 2015, you stole from Mr. Donovan Thomas's Tahoe vehicle, his cellular telephone, his identification, his chain, his nut chain, and his wallet. Is that true?
I gave it back to him.
Okay. I'm going to get there, I promise you. 241F is in Fox, States Exhibit number 378YA is in Elisa. This is January 11th.
Sorry, I missed the clip. We have to back it up to 301. I missed the clip where he actually told the detectives that they didn't have a problem. You're getting ready to hear that now, and then we'll go into him stealing from Donovan Thomas, aka Nut, the guy whose demise is at the center of this case.
2015. So this is, 7-8 hours after Mr. Thomas was, God forbid, shot. It's 3:14:24 a.m. to 3:14:29 a.m. And I want you to hear and listen for whether you said this. I never had a problem with Nut. Me and Nut ain't never had two words with each other. Me and Nut was always okay. You know what I'm saying? The only person I ever had a problem with was Cal. Just tell me if that's what is being said.
I never had a problem with nothing. Me and Nut ain't never had two words to each other. Me and Nut was always okay. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Mr. Copeland, what I said, that was fairly accurate?
What you say?
What I said when I asked you to listen for it, that was accurate? That was,
We heard it.
okay. And actually, a little time before January 6, 2015, I'm using that date for when.
Objection, assuming facts not in evidence.
Well, he's asking the question of whether Mr. Copeland knows, so I'll overrule that.
What going on?
Did they have guns that you saw?
Yeah.
And shortly after that, you learned that Donovan Thomas and others were going to hurt you. True?
Objection, improper character of the victim.
Sustained.
You knew that Donovan Thomas and others made statements that you heard that they were going to hurt you.
Objection, Your Honor, assuming facts not in evidence and improper character evidence.
Sustained.
Did you ever listen to Donovan Thomas have a meeting with others where they discussed you?
Yeah, I was told.
And you were actually listening, and there was a person named Maurice or Mo who was in prison on the call as well, right?
I don't know. I don't know who somebody came back and told me.
Okay. And you understood that Donovan Thomas and others were going to hurt you. Is that true?
Objection, assuming facts not into evidence.
Sustained.
Did you believe, come around January 10th, 2015, that Donovan Thomas and others were going to hurt you? Did you believe that?
Same objection and relevance of what his beliefs were.
I think it goes to his state of mind on the day that Mr. Thomas was killed.
Overrule.
What you asked?
Did you believe that on the date that Donovan Thomas was killed, that he and others, his friends, were had a plan to hurt you physically?
I was told it.
Okay. So when you told the police.
All right, that was huge because that gives motive. That gives somebody else with motive. Woody had robbed him. This man called his cell phone and Woody answered and demanded for it to come back. He gave it back to them. They showed up with all these weapons. He learned that they had planned to harm him. This is the same day that the man was demised. And he just confirmed that he had heard that. So that gives him motive. It also gives his best friend Threat motive. Off of something completely unrelated to anything that quote unquote would have to do with YSL. So reasonable doubt is there. It's established. We're going to move on over to let's see. I think let's go to 30955, where Still plays an interview where Woody promises to give up anything to remain free. We're going to go there. Because he's also at the same time giving motivation for him to lie to the police. They never checked his phone to see if he was even the person. Like, he's put so many doubts and holes in this case, in their case. So let's go to that interview. Play this clip.
Man, if they were to keep get out here and y'all can help me, man, I promise you, you gonna throw up, Birdman, King Tate, and one of them. I'm gonna go right there and do what I have to do. Like, I'm good with anybody. Like, even all this shit going on. I mean, it was 2015, 1:16 p.m. You made that, right? I put on my own soul out there.
All right, so you hear Woody telling the detectives, "I'll tell y'all anything to get the heat off of me." That has been his theme in 2024. This has been his theme in 2015 when they're doing these interviews. So I think that the state has done a pretty good job here. We are going to move on over to 3 excuse me, 317.00 still lays foundation on the motivation for Woody to lie to detectives. Feds are outlining the amount of time that he is facing if he doesn't kind of help them, because they're also getting tired of his little spinning around of stuff. Okay, so let's get there. 317. I'm almost done with this recap.
Tell the U.S. attorney that's assigned to your case, this is what he did to help himself out. It pans out. Or I can go back and tell her, this is what he said. We found out it was lies. He continued to say, yay, the judge do what they want to do. So what I'm trying to tell you before we even get started, especially while I'm sitting here, everything is on you because I've never talked to you before. So with me, you almost get a clean slate to help yourself. I don't do lies. I just don't, because I got too much other stuff to do. And I would hate to have to go back and tell any U.S. attorney, you know what, he just lying and he full of crap. It's up to you, Mr. Copeland. You are I think, is it a 3 or 4 times convicted felon? How many felons do you have?
About 3, don't you?
You have 3?
About 3 or 4. Right.
How many felonies?
I'm saying, like, is it what I'm on probation for?
How many convictions that are felonies do you have? Is it 3 or 4?
It's around there, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, let's just assume it's 3, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, with 3, have you ever heard of armed career criminal?
No, I really mean that.
Have you ever heard of armed career criminal? With 3, where you sitting at now, and you how old? 23. You get 15 years off the top. Off the top. That's before you even get into the time for whatever your charge is, and possession by convicted felon is 5 years, twice is 10. So we talking about 15 plus 10 on top of that. You're looking at, what, 48 years old? That's what you're looking at. This is serious.
I told you.
Nobody has time for the bull crap.
I told you to get rid of it. Did I not? I knew it. I tried to.
That's not including whatever conspiracies you involved in. Mr. Copeland, if I really wanted to be a badass and treat you bad, I'd probably throw the book at you and wouldn't think twice about it. You got a baby girl, beautiful baby girl.
Mr. Copeland, what I said, was that fair, what they were telling you? They being the federal Agent Cunningham and Detective Gaither, Detective Gaither?
What happened?
Is that pretty much what they're telling you? 48 years of age, you got federal charges, 25 years off the top?
Yeah, she was lying too.
But that's what you believed at the time, right?
Yes.
And
All right, so that was the FTA agent that they pulled in for the feds to kind of keep pressuring him. And so we're going to go to 322 and then lastly follow up with 345, where Woody gets to talking about how he was treated. So let's get to 3.2020, 3.22, somewhere around in there. Oh, shoot. Let's see.
if they got to get Birdman, we want to talk about the darn, or it says, damn, Wayne Bus. I want to play that for you. Tell me if this is what you were told.
So what did I do to make the strange up? I don't know why. I do whatever, man. I don't know. I do whatever, man. I'm glad you mentioned it. I do whatever, man. I promise you, man. I'm glad you mentioned it. Because last Thursday, Ms. Kim Dammers, the U.S. Attorney, like the head person for the federal system. And I basically broke down to her everything that we had as far as your case, all the retaliatory shootings, all this, all that, right? She said, you guys have great cases, but we need somebody with direct knowledge that can take down the main culprits. To us, I don't want to say you're not a main target because you are the target for them, but we want top guys that's calling shots. I know you heard the term, we want the big fish. And sometimes to get to the big fish, you got to dang the small fish in front of them. For them to come, for the fish to come. So, if that's something that you want to do, because our case is sealed with you. Like it's not, of course we would like to, solve some of these retaliatory shootings and all that stuff. But as far as your faith, at this point, you could.
So that is Detective Gaither talking to him. This is after the feds had come in and laid all that time in front of him. And they want the big fish. And he needs to start talking. And so, who do you believe? Do you believe 2014, 2015 Woody? In these interviews and giving them all this information with everything that's going on? Or do you believe 2024 Woody, who says, listen, I just made all that stuff up to get them off of me? I ain't see nobody do nothing. I wasn't even there. And Brian Still has done a fantastic job today in chopping up and exposing, because the ex parte hearing came in today, because the state opened it up so he can get on in there. He was able to tell the jury about that piece and how they treated him, and like a lot came in today that kind of protects Woody as well. So this is the last piece where he talks about Rice Street, and some of what they did to him to kind of get him to do what they wanted. So we're going to fast forward. I have that marked at 3:45:01. And so let's see where we are right here.
Break a little early, all right. Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Mr. Copeland, I would like to discuss with you Jeffrey Williams, JW 240DD, David States Exhibit number 378, YE as in Aaron, that's at 11:52:04 a.m. to 11:52:28 OM.
One reason to try Zaxby's new chicken finger tacos? We'll give you two: Chipotle Ranch and Avocado BLT.
I'm Donald J.
Americans dead from fentanyl. Brutal migrant crimes.
Something to the effect of, I hate jail, man. And I'm just saying darn, but it says another word. I let an N get me sent away for man, them N's trying to kill me and my child, bruh, I ain't. And then he talking about killing me, bruh. Listen, I'm telling, I am I'm a tell you anything. Okay? If you could just listen to this for us.
You know what they did to me?
Tell us. Tell us.
After January 10th, people started shooting at me and my family. February, I went to jail for trying to protect me and my baby and my girl at the time. They put me in Rice Street on some stuff called medical flow. It's somewhere hid in the jail. It stink. It's crazy people in there talking, yelling through the door, putting feces all on the window and on the wall. They locked me in the room. It's one door right here. It's one door right here, and it's another door back here, and it's another door back here. I'm behind this door. I don't see nobody. I don't talk to nobody. I'm by myself. I'm at the verge of losing my mind. People trying to shoot at me while they got me locked in this room. I can't talk to nobody. I can't see nobody. I'm locked in this room. They held me in that room for 3 weeks. I got out of jail. I had a court date for another county where I never even been to for some charges I never even did. I don't steal out of stores. I went down to that courthouse and tried to get it situated. Went in the wrong courtroom, told the deputy, hey, my name is such, such, such. I missed court. I'm here to fix it. He said, oh, I gave him my name, told him what happened. He said, oh, you got a warrant. And he locked me up. They put me right back in jail. I stayed in jail a whole month. I had to use the money for selling my four-wheeler to pay an attorney to come represent me. I got the lawyer to come represent me. That lawyer, he got me a bond. A friend of mine gave my baby mama the money to pay my bond. She paid my bond. I got out of jail. The very next day, Atlanta police came into the gym with a whole lot of them. They got me, said that this my bag, this my gun. They took me from my neighborhood to Turnerfield. They questioned me. I told them it wasn't my gun. They let me go. They came back and get me June 10th. They questioned me. I was at the verge of losing my mind because every time I come outside, they keep locking me up. They got me. They did it. They held me in the interrogation room for a whole day, probably. I don't know. They put me right back in Rice Street, put me right back behind all these doors. They constantly kept doing it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, at this point, like, man, I'm tired of keep reliving this stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, man. I'm sitting right here. I got cramps, man. I got knots in my stomach, man. I haven't eaten none. I tried to eat yesterday. I haven't ate today. Y'all sitting up here. I asked for a break. I asked. I'm in pain right now. I understand it might be my fault. I'm telling y'all, I made it up. I lied. Damn, man. This is crazy. I'm telling y'all, my stomach hurting, man.
Well, with the honorable court's order, we're going to be leaving in a little bit of time. Can you try to just listen to the JW 240EE that I just said?
Whew. Man, how would you handle this if you was on a jury? What would you do with all of this? I know what I would be doing. I want to show one last thing, and I'm just going to fast forward to it because I think Brian still used every weapon that he had in this day with Woody. He also kind of disarmed him a little bit and showed him to be a little bit cooperative, non-threatening, because the state has started painting him as a hostile witness. If you listen to this entire day and see him with Brian Steele, you kind of see that there's a lot that he doesn't understand. He has a hearing problem. He's a street guy with maybe a middle school education at best. So I just want to show this little clip of him kind of putting all of Woody's convictions into record, because what he's doing is showing that, listen, this guy's resume is all on his own. It don't have nothing to do with my client.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as Mr. Williams 252J, okay? And if you could just take a look at this for me. Do you see what it says here? United States District Court, Northern District of Georgia. Atlanta Division, United States versus you. United States of America versus you, Mr. Copeland. You see that? And do you see your lawyer's name, Ms. Durrett?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Durrett. And do you see the Honorable Judge Totenberg's signature on there?
Mm-hmm.
And that was your judge, correct?
Yes.
And you see the date, October 24th, 2018?
Yes.
And it has an amendment to the judgment, same case number, your name, right?
Yes.
And it just has October 22, the same date, but the judge signed on October 31, and it just amended your sentence. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And this is certified. Certified means the clerk, you feel that, if you want to feel that seal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And this shows that you pled guilty to the offense of possession of firearm under 18 United States Code 922G1. You see that?
Yes.
And your sentence is going to be on page 2, 60 months. Is that fair to say?
And 3 years supervised release. It's not on there. Is it?
It'll be on here, yes, sir. And I will show it to you. And supervised release is like what?
Probation?
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to show that piece because you see him like this is almost, and y'all, it doesn't take much for me to get emotional, but this guy has been through so much, and I'm not discounting anything. Um, if I had to guess what happened, his friend Threat is who took care of Donovan Thomas for Woody. I don't know. I don't really know. But what I do not believe is that Thug ordered the thing on Donovan Thomas. He was also very cool with him. He was the head of the Bloods thing. And at the time that happened, he and Thug wasn't even hanging together. So, and this was kind of the same day that Woody learned that he was coming after him. I don't really know. Could it have been Woody that did it? Could all of this stuff that he's experienced been punishment for all of that? Like, I don't really know. For me, it's about these defendants' rights and the state not doing their job to get justice, and the violation of rights to just kind of railroad somebody just to say it's this person. And again, this has just been my theme. How many other people have this happen to? So I really enjoyed Brian Steele today. I appreciated the judge presence today. She is really running a fair trial, and on both sides of the coin, she's honoring the rights of everyone, and that's her job. And considering what she inherited, she's done a fine job of it. And the way that Steele is just kind of up there, almost, as if he's known this guy, and he doesn't, but he's humanizing Woody for the jury in this moment. He's showing him cooperative. He's also putting into evidence a lot of his history and corroborating what happened with him with his Fed time and all of that piece. So there are some truths, there are some facts, and there are some untruths, and reasonable doubt, I think, has been handled. The state still gets to, redirect or whatever, and that'll be back tomorrow. But this is kind of my recap for today. Again, you can look at day 119 and see the entire trial for today. I did timestamps and all of that piece. From 3:45, 3 hours and 45 minutes on. It's not much time after that, maybe about a good 30, 40 minutes. And I didn't chapter that space, but I think it's worth watching. So it's your girl Duchess. I appreciate you guys tuning in for this live. And I am going to head on out. Day 119 recap. Is Woody about to get all these boys home? I hope they learn from all this mess, whatever it may be. And I appreciate you so much. I'm out.